episode 3 of Vibe Sports Talk. It's Jordan here with my boy,
Matty Bearcat.
and we got a lot of big topics to talk about this week. There's been a lot going around in the sports world. NFL midway through.
It is big time. Week 8 just got done. Some trades were happening.
Yes,
Some
sir,
people
trade
got
deadline.
cut. It's about goddamn time.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later, though.
Definitely. We're going to get into some NBA draft and free agency predictions.
Oh, yeah.
Got a lot to talk about. I'm excited. You ready to get into this, Matty?
Oh, yeah. You ready?
All right, yes, sir. Episode 3
is
comes
about
up.
that time where we get into the NFL portion of the show. How about them Raiders, Huey, and that defense after talking all that baloney about them? What you guys say now after they come back in the big win?
I'm still not sold on Paul Guenther. The defense played well. Then again, though, wasn't a game where you could really air the ball out. It was hailing and raining throughout the entire game.
True.
There was 40-mile-per-hour winds. You even seen it on the Raiders side of the ball. Jacobs toted the rock 38 times. I think our backups got 10 carries too. We ran the ball about 54 times, I believe it was. So, our run defense, I've thought in the past, hasn't been one of the worst in the league. It's definitely not one of the worst in the league. It's middle of the pack for sure, but not a lot of teams are going to gash you too bad with the run if you have a above average run defense, especially in the weather. We knew with all this, the snow, or not the snow, but the rain and the hail and stuff, they weren't going to be airing it out just like we weren't. So I think that helped us on our defensive side and played to our strength, because then we started bringing a little more pressure than we have all year, because we knew Mayfield wasn't going to be able to air it out too much. So, like I said, I'm not sold on Guenther or the defense right now. Defense definitely looked good. Definitely not sold on Guenther, but it was nice to see that we actually didn't give up. It was the first game this year the Raiders didn't give up 24 points.
True.
First game of the year.
I watched a little bit of it. I caught about the second half of the game. And honestly, I think you guys need another receiver. That's what popped out to me. I think Ruggs is a great receiver.
Yeah.
But I think if you guys got a number 2, a nice solid number 2 to go with him.
We got a lot of injuries in the wide receiver core.
A lot of injuries. And also that I think is going to be very helpful to you guys when you get that offensive line back. I think the Raiders' offense is going to go to a different level. So right now when I say, yeah, you guys need receiver help, but maybe that'll change my opinion once the offensive line comes back, starts opening up more holes and all that kind of stuff.
And once the wide receivers get healthy, we lost Tyrell Williams at the beginning of the year for the entire season. Brian Edwards, our third-round pick, who's shown a lot of promise. He's been hurt with a high ankle sprain for the last 3 weeks, I believe. So getting him back is going to be an added boost. And like I said, though, that game wasn't a lot of passing going around because of everything. And I kind of see the Raiders wide receiver core how I see the Niners in a way, where they don't need to be too dominant, because how you guys have Kittle, we have Waller, who's our amazing receiving threat. So it kind of helps the wide receiver core not have to be dependent on so much.
There is a difference between, we could say right now, the Raiders and the Niners. The difference is we don't have a goddamn quarterback.
Man.
But
what are your thoughts on the Niners? Since we're talking on that topic now, we got through the Raiders. They're looking nice. Headed to a playoff spot, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on that real quick before the Niners talk?
I definitely think divisionally you guys won't win the division.
No. Chiefs.
We've already jumped on that
twice now. It's crazy. We
all
all know.
Episodes. By the way, go check out episode 1 and 2 if you haven't seen it, guys. But yeah, I definitely see you guys getting the wild card spot. And I said it, I believe, last episode, if not episode 1. If and when you guys get that wild card spot, that's gonna be the last teams are gonna want to face in the AFC.
Oh yeah, with our physical type team and run game,
just the speed you guys have.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be. I'm happy. I'm kind of happy that you guys are gonna get that wild card spot, because it's gonna make everything very interesting.
It's definitely gonna be interesting. I'm not locking in a wild card spot for us because the AFC is loaded.
Any chance you guys play Baltimore in that wild card spot? If Pittsburgh goes off,
that'd be tough. I don't want to.
If you're saying Pittsburgh wins that division, the
whole thing is, if we're the last wildcard team, we'd play the number 2 seed, so that'd be the Chiefs most likely. If the Pittsburgh Steelers win their division and have the best record, so that means we'd be facing Chiefs in the division round. That'd be a very fun game to watch.
But it'll be fun, but will be very.
But like I said, I think we're on our way to a playoff spot. We're looking really good right now. I just need that defense to keep stepping up week by week. I hope Paul Guenther proves me wrong, but I don't know, man. We'll see, but definitely impressive this week. But what about your Niners now? Dealing with another injury bug, it seems like.
Man, injury bugs. or we just call it we got a bunch of goddamn pussies on this team. Jimmy Garoppolo in Pacific. His ass will be out of here by the end of the season. Ooh. As you saw, Steve Young today broke the news. His ass should not be back as our quarterback. Doesn't have what it takes. Doesn't fulfill the standards. And never did have them. Now, some great things actually happened in my opinion. Got rid of sorry-ass Dante Pettis,
That was nice.
Honestly, as soon as we drafted him and I saw him with that blue-dyed hair, I knew it was all bad. It was going down from there. I knew it was just, what are they doing?
Yeah, that was a disappointing pick for y'all.
Let me see. Quan Alexander.
Speaking of
Quan and the Niners and all this trade talk, we did trade him to the Saints. Personally...
Did you get enough back for him with just the 5th rounder?
We got a 5th, and I believe we got Keith Alonso.
Probably gonna cut him. I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's not too. We're not. It's just.
So yeah, that's what I mean. Do you like the package?
I do
5th
like
rounder for Quan.
I do like what we got for him.
Cleared some cap space too.
Cleared a lot of cap for us. 2, for what he did for us the time he was here.
Yeah.
We got our money's worth, I think.
Yeah, he had 2 good seasons.
He was serviceable, and we got rid of him before it was too late.
Yeah.
Because he had his pec injury.
Yeah.
Then I believe...
Yeah, hasn't he been hurt this year a little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit. And then in the last season, he had the pec. And then he came back for the Super Bowl game, though. And then before he came here, when he left...
Tore his ACL.
So he's got a lot of injuries.
No, yeah,
so I think they got rid of him
just in time. Cleared the cap, too.
So I think, though, they're not done. I think Garoppolo will be gone in the offseason.
So you're telling me it's rebuild mode? Maybe not full-on rebuild?
So this is my opinion on the Niners. They are 2 pieces away from back to actually winning that division next year in contention to oh shit, they could go back to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Step 1, get a new quarterback.
Yep.
Now, people are saying, why'd you trade Quan? What's your replacement? The replacement's already there.
Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw.
You're set there, okay? There's no replacement there. So then, your receiver room, we're going to rely on the 2 young cores. On Debo and Ayuk.
Ayuk's showing out.
They're showing out, and they're at my point now. I know I was talking a lot of down on the receiver room saying that
as was
we need help, but they kind of proven, I guess we could say, us wrong. A little bit, or perhaps me wrong for now, just a little bit.
Debo's been dealing with health and stuff, so it's a little still thin, but
he's shown that he could do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, we talked about it. We said if Ayuk can provide that second wide receiver spark, which ever since we've talked about it, he has, and it's been impressive. Sure. If he can continue that, once you get Debo healthy, Kittle healthy, everyone healthy again, and like you said, maybe a new quarterback, because I've been on this whole time saying Jimmy's not the guy for y'all.
Oh, no, for sure. No, I've been saying that since they signed the man. And, there's been a lot of players I said weren't the man when they got him. A lot of people were saying I was crazy for it, but hey.
Yeah.
Look at now. They're cutting the people.
So you're just thinking not full rebuild, but new quarterback?
Yeah, so
and maybe some help at wide receiver?
No, I think they're good at receiver. I wouldn't even bother messing with the wide receiver room unless maybe there's a free agent out there that's just on his tail end that could help us out here.
AJ Green?
Type shit. AJ Green type, exactly.
That'd be nice.
Get him on the
low type. What's your second one on that?
My second one is they need to bring in a safety. They need to bring in a safety or they need to bring in a number 1 DB. I think they need to part ways with Sherman. I think Sherman's time with us is over. Just based on just him being old. I think a lot of injuries. And it's just he got exposed in my opinion in the Super Bowl. Just that deep route just exposed him. That it hit him with the deep route. He's not keeping up with you.
Yeah.
And so get rid of him. And if you were gonna bring him back,
it's gotta be on a salary trade.
It's gonna be on very restructure type thing. But still, you need to bring in that number 1 guy to take over because you can't be that number 1 guy. It'll turn into more of just you're there to be a leader type thing.
No, definitely see that.
Yeah, I think they're a couple pieces away, but we'll see.
Not full rebuild though.
Not full rebuild in my opinion. Okay. You still have lots of pieces on that team.
Yeah, I agree.
That can contend. And
definitely agree with
they're
that.
They're still all in their prime and they're young right now.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to, with trading Quan, hopefully they part ways with Jimmy. Just those two, leaving is going to open up a lot of cap space.
Yeah, that'd be nice to have too.
And a player I think they should go after for a quarterback. And if I say win now, try to go all in next year. I say go after Matt Ryan possibly.
It's a great one.
Now, the only thing about Matt Ryan is, are you going to want to trade for that contract? So, because you're trading away your 2 players. You're getting rid of your quarterback and you got rid of your linebacker because of the cap issues.
Yeah.
Now you're going to go in and bring quarterback that's going to basically bring all that cap back. Nah, so you're hopefully going to trade
Well,
for him
if
and
he
you're going to have to
performs,
restructure.
if he performs better than Jimmy, then the cap add is worth it because their salaries are pretty similar, I think. Because Jimmy's
he's
making
on his
like
tail end though. How many more years does Matt Ryan have?
with a good offensive line, like 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
With a good offensive line, yes. Because we all know he's not mobile. He's a snail back there. He's of the old variety of quarterback, pocket passer, kind of a statue, right? With a good offensive line though, gives him a clean pocket. I think he's got a good 3 years left in him.
3 years.
3 years, and that's enough for you guys to go get a Super Bowl.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I heard
might be worth it. And his best years were with Shanahan.
True.
It'd be nice to see that reunion, see how that works out. You feel me?
I heard this crazy. I'm trying to remember his name. Nick Wright.
Yeah.
On I think he was on Get Up this morning.
Yeah.
He said something absolutely crazy. I want to get your opinion on it. He said the Niners should trade Bosa to the Jets, try and acquire the first overall pick if the Jets get the first pick, and trade for draft Trevor Lawrence.
No.
I think that's absolutely crazy.
It's ridiculous. Why would you trade Bosa? He's in his second year.
In his second year, exactly prime. So you're thinking don't trade nobody that is
none of your cornerstones.
None of your cornerstones.
No. And I think when I say those cornerstones, you only have 2 real untouchables on the Niners. And that's Kittle and Bosa.
Exactly.
Anyone else? Give me a call. Let me know.
I'd maybe add Fred Warner to that list.
Oh, yeah. I almost forgot.
I'll add Fred Warner to that
Fred
list.
Warner, Bosa, Kittle. Don't even talk to me. Anyone else? Give me a call. Let me see if I like your offer. You know what I mean? You got to be open to any offer, I feel like, in the NFL. So, but let's talk. Well, now we're talking about offers. That deadline, what a dud.
Oh, dude. Nothing really got done too
nothing
crazy.
Big,
I thought
a lot of smaller trades.
Exactly. I thought that a couple teams actually would make some splashes. But in my opinion, why a couple teams didn't was, for example, you had Antonio Brown on the free agent market that got picked up by the Bucks.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of just like, all right. Then you got Dez that got picked up.
Yeah.
So that's 2 receivers off the market that nobody even had to trade for to get. They could just pick them off the market for the cheap. So I feel like this year, with also the kind of pandemic going on and
that's
COVID,
what I was going to say. The thing I think that scared a lot of teams is adding cap because they don't know if the cap's going to go up next year, go down, or stay the same because they're going to lose a lot of revenue.
Exactly.
And the cap on average has gone up every single year, like a couple mil. And then now I think teams are like, they don't want to overcommit money when they don't know if they're going to get that bump. And then they're going to salary cap themselves right at the top. And if they need any wiggle room, they don't have it. So I think a lot of teams were nervous about adding salary through trades because of that too. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think the team that won the trade deadline, though, was the Baltimore Ravens.
Really?
They added Yannick Ngakoue from Minnesota.
They did.
They got Dez on the free agent market.
Do you think Dez is even going to help them, though? I don't think Dez... What's Dez going to do for them?
He's going to be their sure-handed, big-body wide receiver. They don't have that. Who on their team can you say has got hands?
Okay, but...
reliable to just go make a play for you and then get down and you got the first and end the game.
Does Dez still have it?
I think so. I've been waiting for Dez to get signed. When he got signed with the Saints, I was big up for that one. I was hyped, and then he got hurt. So I'm interested to see, but I think they won the deadline. Them and Pittsburgh both made aggressive moves, and that's why that AFC North is crazy. Like, it was good to see some teams make some big moves.
Yeah.
But yeah, the deadline overall, it's kind of a dud.
Very much so.
I was getting ready to see all the alerts on the phone and didn't see much. So that kind of sucks. But
MVP talk?
Oh yeah, I got Russ winning it.
Oh, absolutely, Russ right now, 100%. And there's also Mahomes that's just gonna be there, kind of in the background that always can make. But
you know what my surprise pick is though for MVP?
Who?
Kyler Murray. Get on the bandwagon. Playing in the toughest division, NFC West. If he can somehow find a way to carry them and be in contention at the end of the year with Russ, like battling for the division, not the wild card, they get another showdown. So if they keep it close enough where they show down with similar records, and Kyler's been putting up numbers with D-Hop. That man D-Hop might be Offensive Player of the Year.
I could see it possibly, but yeah, actually, yeah.
But Russ is my heavy favorite. Russ is my heavy favorite though for MVP.
And then we also have, talking about Offensive Player, you have D-Hop.
D-Hop is my number one choice, I think, for Offensive Player of the Year. Because usually the quarterbacks get the MVP, and then Offensive Player goes to position players, like running backs, wide receivers. And I think Derrick Henry's been a beast, for sure. I mean, I can't argue with that. Yeah, facts.
His back's going to be broken by the time he retires.
No, yeah. Only reason I'm leaning more towards D-Hop is because he leads the league in reception yards, and I'm pretty sure he's got to be top 3 in receptions. He's been
for sure.
He's been on a tear this year. With him and Kyler have been like since day one been clicking. So it's nice to see that. I think D-Hop is probably gonna be my Offensive Player of the Year.
Okay. What about Defensive Player of the Year?
might be slept on. Everyone knows about him, but he might be getting slept on. I got Myles Garrett winning Defensive Player of the Year.
Myles Garrett.
Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. He's been a force this year. And the thing I really like about him is when he gets in the backfield and sacks quarterbacks, he doesn't just go for the sack. He ball hunts. He goes in trying to strip sack. I think he leads the league in strip sacks this year too. He goes in trying to get the ball out, make a big play. Not just the good play, get the sack, like great play. He tries to make
big
play, like game-changing plays. He goes for the strip sacks. He goes in ready looking for the ball. So I think he's definitely going to be my Defensive Player of the Year prediction.
Well, I got somebody that you don't really hear too much about because he's been injured a lot. And has been having a nice year back, actually making a lot of big plays if you've been paying attention. Team's not doing too good this year, but J.J. Watt, I think, has been having a great year. A great kind of comeback year.
I think he'll be... Definitely, I think it's between him and Big Ben for Comeback Player of the Year.
Oh, I think, though, you'd have to give that one to Big Ben. Just on the base of them being undefeated.
Yeah.
Going to win that division, probably.
Yeah.
After the Ravens just kind of being the big talk last year of, like...
Definitely. They got a lot of hype, exactly.
Them coming in, just taking over. And if you really think about it, Big Ben, what weapons does he have on that offense? Besides what? Even if you say Juju, like, okay, Juju's not really all like...
No, I feel it, but he's got a lot of good options. I wouldn't say he's got a lot of great options. You know what I mean? He's got Juju, he's got James Conner.
He's got people that can show up every week.
Claypool's came in and showed out. He's got that's what I mean. He doesn't have any great guys, but he's got a lot of good ones.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got the weapons, but that doesn't hurt his Comeback Player of the Year. He's definitely a big favorite, too, I think. So, I mean, man, football's been crazy.
It has been.
And then all these big rivalry games, and the NFL decided to have some boring Sunday night Dallas Cowboys
matchup. My God, that whole entire division is just ridiculous.
God. I don't know how that's our Sunday night game.
That's just a mess over there.
Crazy.
What do you think about Rookie of the Year?
Rookie of the Year. I'm going with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I think that's 100% just a done deal already.
He's been
Do you know what, though?
Going crazy.
What if Tua balls out?
I think it's a little too late for him.
A little too late?
Yeah, Herbert, and he's coming in. His first start is in Week 7. We're already halfway through the season now, where Burrow started every single week. He's been handling business. Like, I know they're
losing games by a touchdown. Last minute drives.
That's what I mean. And that team is not as good as they look because he's carrying them, I feel like. And the only other person that I think is in contention with him is going to be Herbert, just because obviously quarterbacks get the benefit of the doubt on all kind of awards. So if Herbert can start showing out, which he has been, but the team's just losing too much. Like Burrow getting them to some wins, but with the Chargers, they always find a way to lose, and I think that hurts Herbert when it comes to like awards and stuff. But he's definitely been showing out too. It's pretty interesting to see, and he's been playing really good, I think.
What's your opinion on Comeback Player of the Year? I know we touched a little bit on it. You got Big Ben, Cam, JJ.
I'm locking it in.
Lock it in.
I'm locking it in. Big Ben.
Yeah, I'd have to agree on that. Big Ben for sure comeback. I think it'll be well deserved too.
Yeah.
And it honestly wouldn't put surprise if somehow they fell into the Super Bowl. Like somehow Big Ben just uses veteran skills. And maybe
not knowledge.
Maybe the Super Bowl might be pushing it actually a little bit. That's a long take.
I mean, that defense,
the conference championship.
Definitely. I wouldn't doubt that either
at all. Coach of the Year candidates.
It might be a hot take. I don't really think it is, but I'm locking it in. It's a for sure lock for me. Cliff Kingsbury.
Okay.
Him and the Cardinals, they're like my fantasy love right now. I don't know what it is. I've been calling it. They're the sleeper team. They're gonna get in the playoffs, make some noise. Like I'm locking in. The Cardinals are legit.
Okay.
Cardinals have impressed me. They lost Chandler Jones and haven't missed a beat. I thought that was gonna hurt them a lot. When I seen Chandler Jones was out for the rest of the year, I was like, I don't know. That might hurt him like a lot on defense. But they haven't skipped a beat. They've came in and handled business, and I really like them as a team. I think Kingsbury could win Coach of the Year. Hop could win Offensive Player of the Year, and Murray could win MVP.
The whole entire
division
and all the coaches in that division are all going to be there for a very long time. The only one I don't see them being there, maybe for actually not seeing being there for maybe 5+ more years, just because he's kind of old. Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll.
He's going to be there as long as he wants.
Exactly.
Pete Carroll, I think that's who I think is going to win Coach of the Year possibly.
Yeah.
With the year that they're having and the way that he's got Russ playing. And the defense is a little shaky.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're still pulling out games. I think he's a candidate you could possibly throw in there.
I agree.
In the mix. So I'm going to lock it in on Pete Carroll possibly taking it and winning it.
And even though I locked in on Kingsbury, because I am locking on it. I think he's going to win Coach of the Year. I'm almost positive he's going to get it with how they've played, and if they keep on this trajectory, playoffs and everything. But I would not be surprised at all either if good old Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Good old Mike Tomlin keeps winning games. They finished like 1-2 in the AFC, outlasted Chiefs for the best team in the AFC. How can you argue with that? I think he might get it if that's the case. So
what about Big Bruce? What if they win out?
I mean, they're a super team. When do super team coaches really win Coach of the Year, though? You know what I mean? Unless they're so dominant, like.
Yeah, true.
And they built a super team down there, so I don't know.
We'll see.
It's been a lot of fun though so far in the season. I'm interested to see how it continues out and plays out. I'm hoping my Raiders push for a little playoff spot. We'll see though.
And I'm hoping my Niners are in the film room right now trying to figure out who the goddamn quarterback will be next year.
They need to get in the training room too. Get healthy, but.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that will be the NFL portion of episode 3 with VibezSportsTalk.
Alright, guys, it's time. We're going to talk about the NBA portion of the show. We got a lot to talk about in the NBA. You know, the start of the season, when they're going to figure out when that starts. We got free agency and the draft coming up very, very soon.
Extremely soon.
I'm excited to get into that. There's a lot that can be talked about for the top 5 picks, and we're going to get on into it. But first, I want to talk about NBA free agency, Maddie. There's some decent names out there this year, but everybody knows next year's the big fish free agency. But I definitely got to say, there's a couple names out there I'm excited to see go to teams and where they go. And the one that I'm most excited to see, everyone knows Anthony Davis is staying in Los Angeles.
Oh, for sure.
That's why my next biggest free agency fish that I'm excited to look into is Brandon Ingram. The Pelicans. Traded from LA, heads over to New Orleans with Lonzo and the boys. Gets there the first year, has a decent year. Or, no, he had a more than a decent year, I think. And then this year he kind of backed it up. Backed it up with his play. He's a real baller. I wouldn't say he's a max level player, but with how the NBA is going with these contracts, I think he gets a max contract.
But I think he'd be a nice 2 guy. Definitely not a number 1 guy.
No, yeah, but nice 2
guy.
I think
but definitely a max contract.
Definitely a max contract. You know what I mean? He's a max contract player, in my opinion.
But with who?
I think he resigns with the Pelicans.
Really?
I do.
Do you know where I'd like to see him go? Maybe, possibly, just because I like to see this player get some help. But I don't know if this is the help that he would want. Maybe the Suns, just to give Booker some help.
Wow, that's an interesting one.
I think Booker definitely either needs to get out of Phoenix.
I think he needs to get
out.
Not
to jump off the free agency topic too much, but
that could be one.
But
I think he needs to get the fuck out of there.
He needs to get out immediately.
And I don't think anyone wants to go join him in Phoenix.
Or he needs to get help.
No, yeah.
So God bless that man, but
I don't think Brandon Ingram wants to go join him in the Suns though, because the Suns are just.
Do you know where else I could maybe see him going? Just because they could be desperate and just trying to. It's about time they maybe sign someone. They can take their chances on him. Maybe bring in like a Chris Paul on a trade. Is the Knicks?
Ooh.
Because I could see maybe the Knicks trading for Chris Paul, sign Brandon Ingram. Maybe hopefully try to get Chris Paul to bring in. Maybe not like they're not gonna be able to attract a superstar.
Yeah.
But hopefully start building.
But get like a little big 3 going. Yeah.
Get some goddamn respect in the league once again. Is what I'm trying to say.
I would really like to see Ingram almost. Like you said, I don't think he's the for sure fire number 1, but if you can go team up with someone that like helps him lead the team, but he's like the number 1 option, but he's not the number 1 guy, you know what I'm trying to say? Like It's kind of confusing, but like I don't think he needs to lead the team like by himself, but I think he needs to be the number 1 option. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Working with a guy like Chris Paul, like you said, that would be a good fit for him, I think. But I think he's comfortable in New Orleans and he balled out there, and I think he's gonna re-sign. And their big 3 going forward, what they're gonna try and work with is Lonzo, Zion, and Brandon Ingram. I think that's their big.
I don't know about
Lonzo's passing IQ with Brandon Ingram on the wing and Zion down low. Oh, yeah. I think that's a nice little big.
So you think his passing can overshine his not for the lack of points?
Yeah, definitely.
His lack of points could.
He's a pass first point guard. He's like an old school point guard, runs the offense, but he's still gonna get his buckets, and I think he's only gonna improve around the rim. And from 3, we've seen him make the strides since he was with the Lakers. He had all those struggles early, and we've seen him make a little bit of the strides. But I think Brandon Ingram back to the Pelicans on like a max deal is probably most likely. But I'm interested to see if he tests like the waters like
for sure
aggressively. And then another name that got brought up with the Knicks that's interesting to look at. I have him as my number 2 free agent just because he's got experience and he's a gritty point guard. Is Fred VanVleet from Toronto. I think he's gonna get overpaid, but
check this out.
I definitely like him.
You know where I could maybe see him going? I think Houston, based on one thing. I think Philly will trade for James Harden.
Hot take, ladies and gentlemen. Maddie's the hot James Harden is headed to Philly.
But I think James Harden will be headed to Philly.
I did see that they're interested in trying to acquire him, but I don't know what that compensation would look like. It's got to be like...
I don't know, but God knows what they're going to have to send over. It's going to be a Embiid or Ben Simmons. Well, one of them are leaving. If that's the choice...
Man, pairing Harden with Embiid, though...
would be nasty.
That would be nasty. But I definitely, like, back on the free agency topic with Fred VanVleet, he's definitely an established point guard. He's not a superstar by any means, and I think he's going to get overpaid, but I think he can be a big help to a lot of teams.
What about the Lakers?
I think the Lakers are going to try and make a splash and go big three.
They're going to go big three?
I think they're going to go big three. And you know what I think they're going to do? They're going to target another young star.
Like who?
It's hard to say, but they're going to do it. Because I think what they're going to do is pair a big three so that they can do championship runs the next 2 to 3 years, right?
Uh-huh.
And then when LeBron's on his last leg, whenever that comes to, because you never know when that's going to happen with him, honestly. He's like Brady.
True.
He just keeps on chugging along, being a beast. But I think they'll bring in like a young star, and then when Bron's gone, they'll still have a two-headed monster of stars with AD and whoever that young guy they bring in is. But I don't know who they could target because the compensation is going to be outrageous. The compensation
they don't really have anything to send either. Yeah,
like Kuzma's like your only trade chip, and it's like he's not like a coveted trade chip. He's just a good trade chip, I think.
Oh man,
so it's definitely interesting.
It is.
Back on the topic of Houston, though, you've said a couple times Houston go after guys. You know who I think would be a real good fit in Houston, especially if they lose either Westbrook or Harden?
Talk to me.
DeMar DeRozan. I think Milwaukee and Houston are his two likeliest landing spots, and I would prefer if he goes to Milwaukee, but he fits the Houston play style of like small ball, but he can play both sides of the court. He's physical and he's an athlete. I think he could fit well in either of those situations. If he goes to Milwaukee or Houston, I would love him to go to Milwaukee though.
I think he would go to Houston before Milwaukee.
Yeah,
personally, because I just think that fits more of his style of ball.
Yeah,
but. Granted, Houston does have a new coach, so that style of just chucking up threes and shooting might be gone.
Don't be surprised too, though, if DeMar goes home to LA.
Yeah,
on a smaller deal, Lakers.
And just rolls on a bench deal, like
maybe not like a bench deal. He might even be in the starting lineup at the 2. I mean, Danny Green's not starting for the Lakers next year. I don't think so.
Oh, absolutely
not. Like he's gonna be on the team because they signed him to a 2-year, $30 million.
But I don't think he'll be on the starting lineup.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be like a full starter minutes.
He might be traded. That might be a trade.
It's gonna be hard to get that deal off though. $15 million for Danny Green. I wouldn't be surprised though if DeMar took a small, maybe like a veteran, not a veteran's minimum. Obviously, he's worth way more than that. But takes a smaller deal, like a 1 year, like 8 or 1 year 10, and goes and plays with the Lakers and balls out. Because
he see it maybe.
Good chance at a ring. He always said LeBron was his kryptonite. Now he can go team up with LeBron. Like. It'd be interesting to see. I think that'd be a good spot for him too. Lakers, Milwaukee, or Houston. I think DeMar goes to any of those teams, he's gonna excel.
We'll find out.
Definitely. And then another guy leaving LA, not the Lakers though, the Clippers. Montrezl Harrell, 6th man of the year. Proven guy. I think had some ups and downs with his teammates in LA at the end of the year and this season. I think he's gone.
I think that's somebody that could go to Milwaukee.
That would be a nice pickup for them. They have a big lineup already, though, as it is. But I could see that happening. I think
that's somebody that could go there, though. I think just to like give them that extra help on D.
Yeah.
To get them that extra maybe 10 points. That's all he needs to get them. Nothing too crazy.
That'd be nice. And get boards. And he's a physical presence. He adds that toughness and grit to your team.
But mainly just go there to help them on that defense. I feel like they need help on defense.
I mean, they have a good defense, but Giannis carries it too much by himself.
Exactly.
But you know where I could see him going, and I really like this fit for him? It's Portland.
I just don't see Portland being an attractive place for free agents to go though. Like
really?
Yes, Dame's there.
Dame, CJ, they're gonna bring Melo back.
CJ's there, Melo's back, but that's just like
Nurkic down low.
When you look at the competition though, like in the West, you just know like if you're sitting as a free agent, especially a top tier agent where a lot of teams want you, Portland would be sitting at like my 5-6 option.
I don't know. I feel like
that's just not an attractive.
The way you're gonna win the Western Conference is it's an arms race. You just got to get as many guys that are real ballers as you can stack. Imagine a lineup with Nurkic at the 5, Montrez at the 4, Melo starting at the 3, McCollum at the 2, and Dame at the 1. That starting 5, I would put them up with almost anyone except for maybe like the Warriors when they're fully healthy.
Yeah, but then I have them losing in 7 games to anybody in a series in the West. Just
I don't
based
know.
on
Dame
one thing.
alone could carry that team.
That bench is going to be nobody.
I mean, they have a lot of like average, solid bench guys like you need in the NBA. But if you have a starting lineup that is 5 guys that are superstars, like that's big to have.
Did I make that?
Yeah, you did. That's fucking crazy.
Oh,
man, you gotta make it if you got Kobe.
Exactly.
R.I.P. to the GOAT. But yeah, I think Portland would be a good spot for Montrez. No cap. That like he brings some gritness up to them, and Dame having some more help on the glass and stuff. Like
True.
When he's putting up a bunch of shots, I think Montrez would be a good addition for Portland. But
we'll find out.
I think one guy who's gonna be slept on in free agency. He's going to be slept on in terms of the average fan or like the guys who like to watch sports and the NBA but maybe don't follow it like 100% in depth. It's Joe Harris from the Nets. Straight sharpshooter.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Exactly. My man is a straight sharpshooter, and I think he can help out a lot of teams that need a 3-and-D kind of wing that can help out. I could see the Nets re-signing, but I also could see the Nets maybe trying to save cap and figure out if they can do a 3-headed monster with Kyrie, KD, and maybe another guy.
Paul George?
Nah, because you have to trade for Paul George, and then nobody wants Paul George with how he's been playing. I think for them, it'd be more of like save money, trade for like a Bradley Beal or like a Devin Booker.
Devin Booker,
to the
really?
Nets.
To the Nets?
That'd
be nasty.
I think they want to build a big 3. I don't know if they win a ship with Kyrie and KD as the 2-headed monster, and then just a bunch of like role player guys like they have.
Yeah,
I think if they add a third piece to that wheel, Kyrie, KD, and they have that third option or that second option. If you put them ahead of Kyrie, depends who they get. That'd be huge for that team. And
for sure.
I think with Joe Harris, he's gonna get paid, but I don't think the Nets are gonna do it. I think it's gonna be a team looking for some sharp shooting help. Could see a lot of teams from the West going after him. I think he might switch from the Eastern Conference.
Warriors?
No, because we have so much shooting already. It'd be more of a team that just like is playoff ready, but they just need like some shooting help. They need.
OKC.
Also, Milwaukee with Joe Harris, who like Milwaukee doesn't have a lot of shooters that can actually put up real minutes.
Yeah, true.
That would be interesting to spread the floor for Giannis a little more, to have Joe Harris go there.
I feel like Milwaukee's just got a bunch of inside shooters.
Yeah, they're a big team that dominates the paint. Yeah, they dominate.
Try to go out there and be physical with everybody.
Yeah,
I feel
agree.
like that's what kind of kills them when they get later on to like the playoffs. It's just they go against teams that just have the shooters and the speed.
And then they play like the Heat did. They play a zone on Giannis,
Exactly.
so when he's driving, there's guys
everywhere.
And when he kicks, like he doesn't have true shooters out there. I think for Milwaukee, the biggest thing they need to attack free agency in the draft, finding Giannis some shooting help. If Giannis resigns too, that's going to be a big thing. So
that's going to be a big topic coming up in a couple episodes. Is that Giannis
topic. I think that's next offseason though. Giannis
that is next offseason.
But still, because this season is going to prove a lot to him, whether the front office is really like willing to go for it and get the pieces around him. Because I don't think Milwaukee wants to make the mistake where they don't give him what he wants and get him the pieces he needs, to where when he hits free agency next year, he's like, bro, like I told you guys I needed help, or like I needed this, you guys didn't get it for me, and I just get bounced from the playoffs again. He's gonna be over it at that point. So that's pretty interesting. But those are our top 5 free agent outlook, and a little NBA talk. But we got to get into real quick before we go, the NBA draft. I want to focus on specifically the Wolves, the Warriors, and Charlotte, the top 3 picks in the drafts, because I think the top 3 picks are interchangeable.
Oh, any 3 of them could go.
I think Anthony Edwards, LaMelo, and James Wiseman. I don't know what order it's going to be, who's first, second, third, but I think those 3 are locks in the top 3. The only one I can see sneaking in is Denny. I can't pronounce his name.
Overseas.
Overseas, because the Warriors.
You know what the Warriors said? They loved him.
Yes, exactly. That's the only team though that I've seen that's in the top 3 or even top 5 really that's shown like a lot of interest in him. So I think even for the Warriors' sake, they might even be able to trade down maybe and draft him a little bit lower if not a lot of teams are as sold on him as the Warriors are. But I preferably want the Warriors to get James Wiseman.
I think Wiseman would be a good fit.
Versatile big that can shoot.
If he goes first,
yeah,
which is very possible, I think the Warriors at that point take the best player off the board, and that's going to be Ball. Take LaMelo. Take the shooter.
Over Anthony Edwards?
I'll take him over Anthony Edwards just based on one thing. You got to think about it like this. Curry doesn't have too many years left. Maybe going to give you another 5 years.
Yeah.
So this is your chance where you have maybe, possibly the next Curry in the draft. If you want to break it down shooting wise,
yeah, and
range
I mean,
wise,
his pass,
shooting wise,
Melo and Lonzo both excel in the passing game too. That's one of Melo's most underrated, but it's like his best trait in my opinion. A lot of people sleep on his passing. His passing's crazy.
And a lot of people say, okay, well, Ball shooting, his motion. Okay, well, this is your chance right now to give him 5 years
to train with Curry and Clay. Yeah.
And then once they're gone, you have him now able to take over.
Yeah.
And hopefully still have that winning mentality, learn the winning mentality. So in my opinion, I would draft Ball because I think he could give you something. And
Edwards.
Edwards would be a good fit too. You could throw him down low.
That's what I mean. He if you get Edwards and if you're the Warriors front office and you're not sold on Wiggins, you just did the deal to try and recuperate a first round pick from the Wolves and like eat Wiggins' salary, that matched D'Lo's salary for like a year or two, and then you're like, all right, like we can move on from Wiggins. If that's the case, then I think Edwards is the best choice for us. But, like, I want the Warriors to get Wiseman because he's a 7-footer lefty who can shoot, dominates the boards, and I think he's only going to get better over time as he gets more comfortable. Like, he might face some struggles in the NBA to start because bigs in the NBA, when they first come in, face some adversity and stuff. But I think Wiseman in the Warriors system as a shooting center that's lengthy, gets boards, I think he could be a huge help to the Warriors.
True.
That's
they've been needing that help down low for a while now.
Yeah.
And they haven't been able to bring it in. But also why I say go ahead and get Ball.
Yeah.
Is because you're going to have people like Dwight Howard on the market that you could go after and get, possibly. And I just feel like you could get that big man off the free agent market. You can get somebody off the low.
There's just not so many big men that I can trust, though, I feel like. Like, when you think about it, maybe, like, there's definitely big men you can get for, like, the 1 year, like the Dwights of the world. Dwight could come in and help the Warriors.
Exactly.
Guys like that, Brook Lopez, come in and help the Warriors, like, on 1 year, 2 year deals. But if you really want to draft, like, your star center of the future, I think Wiseman is the easy choice. And the thing that I think, too, is if the Warriors are wanting to draft Anthony Edwards, he's not going to be there. I think the Wolves have... The thing with the Wolves, right, the two positions that we're saying could be interchangeable in the top three, right? Wiseman's a center, right? Mm-hmm. Timberwolves have Cat, so they're not drafting Wiseman.
Yeah.
Timberwolves have D'Lo, so they're not drafting Ball. Edwards is like a shooting guard, small forward type. He's bigger body guy. I think they go with Edwards, and then for the Warriors, they get their pick of Wiseman, Ball, and Denny at Chaviga or whatever his name is. But
or you trade.
Yeah, but I just hope Wiseman falls to 2 and we take him because I think he's going to be.
You think they trade that second pick maybe for like a superstar?
The only reason I say no is because Wiggins is on superstar money. So they're already kind of cash strapped with Wiggins, Curry, Clay, and Draymond.
But you could package up that second pick Wiggins for a one player type thing.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, I would be down to do that if that's possible. But I don't think a lot of teams are, like I said, interested in Wiggins' contract and Wiggins, because I think Wiggins is for sure a good player and like he's an NBA starter in my opinion. But he's not a guy that's gonna come in and like make like a world of a difference. You know what I mean?
True.
Like he's gonna be a good solid player, but he's not gonna like change your whole franchise's trajectory. So teams aren't gonna be like, oh, him and the number 2 pick can come just carry us out of the bottom barrel of the league. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. And
so I would definitely love to see the Warriors stand pat and just build through the draft like they did for so many years. Curry, Clay, Dre, all through the draft. Stop going for the superstar unless you can get Giannis next year. And go and just draft Wiseman. I think he's the safest bet, and he's just going to be a superstar in the NBA.
My thing about Wiseman, but also I'd rather them get Ball, is all three of them actually, you could say their defense is very average, if that.
But Wiseman has the best, in my opinion.
He does have the best, but also
shot blocker too.
It's still not elite, where it's like you could rely on him to go out there and like defend somebody one-on-one. So,
I feel like, especially like I was saying though, for young centers,
but that's for Ball too, though. You could say the same for Ball, but that's what I also say. Go ahead and get Ball, because then you could say we could guarantee on him going out there and running the court. And just let Curry and let Clay play off of him and let him run everything.
Well, that's what I was saying. His passing with Curry and Clay would be pretty nasty. But the only thing that scares me is you're having Curry and Melo on the court at the same time. That defensive unit is going to get torched. you're gonna get torched. You have
Yeah.
Clay. You have
There's
Clay
no
and
size out
Draymond.
there. You're gonna have no
Yeah,
size.
and you have Clay and Dre, and they're locks. But when you have two guys that are below average, I think in man-to-man guarding, because Curry gets in passing lanes, he's a good defender. But I'm saying just guarding up, like guard up on guys, like that's gonna be a liability to have him and LaMelo out there. I don't know how much I'd like that.
True.
But definitely a lot going on in the NBA world. I'm interested. The one thing too, before we switch topics here, is I want to know when the season is going to start. Are they going to have the 72 or 62 game season?
I'm probably thinking it's 62.
Yeah, so you think after the New Year?
Yeah, hopefully. I know they wanted to do it
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. I think that's a horrible idea. That's actually a very tremendous, horrible, pathetic idea by the NBA. I don't know why they even consider that. I think late January would be a good start. Maybe like mid.
Yeah, mid-January is the projection right now.
Exactly. So. I think not early though.
Yeah.
Like nothing before the 15th of January. Anything after the 15th, I think would be a great time to start.
Yeah.
They have a set date for the draft.
Yes, November 16th, I believe it is.
So we're coming up on that pretty
soon.
Up.
So that's why we had to get into a little talk on it.
Next week
we'll get into a lot more detail on it for sure. But, I'm excited for all the NBA offseason stuff. I just want to get that start date so that they know when free agency is going to really hit and kick off and when we see this draft. I'm interested. Sure. But that's the end of our NBA portion of this episode on Vibes Sports Talk. Stick around. We got a little bit of UFC recap and some big updates for y'all about the page.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we have all been waiting for. Anderson Silva, Mr. Huey. Man. UFC portion of the time, ladies and gentlemen.
So, Silva versus Hall. It was everything that we thought it was going to be. A nice, average, good fight, but Hall handled business. We talked about it being something potentially big for his career just because he needed to get back on track, you know, fighting an unranked guy. And he handled business in the end. It sucks to see a guy like Silva go out like that, like one of the GOATs of the sport. He's done so much for the sport. You like to see those guys end up on top like Khabib did and stuff. But, it doesn't always happen like that. We've seen that with DC this year, too, losing his championship rematch. And it was tough to see Silva go out like that, but
for sure
he showed his heart as a warrior, too, though. He got dropped once in the fight and withstood the round and got to another round. But in the end, I think the age factor and just the fact that Hall is more of like a fresh fighter in the game still kind of just carried him to that victory. And it was nice to see the embrace after the fight, too. Hall paying his respect to Silva being one of the GOATs in the game. But, it wasn't everything we thought it would be. It was just more like a good fight for sure. It didn't live up to the hype of Silva coming back, you know what I mean?
For sure.
It was good though. It was cool to see.
Personally, I had Silva winning the fight.
Yeah.
I said that I thought he'd go out winning on his last one.
Yeah.
I was actually very surprised on the start of the fight. The first 2 minutes there wasn't even one punch or kick thrown, which kind of threw me off guard a little bit.
They were feeling each other out a little bit.
Feeling each other out for a little too long.
Yeah.
But then, the fight was pretty much as soon as the first couple punches were thrown, you saw that the age was showing on Silva.
Yeah.
Sucks to see him going out like that. Definitely don't want to see him fighting again. I remember he was saying that he might go somewhere else and fight.
Yeah, I hope he just retires from
I just hope he's done fighting. I hope that's his last one.
Yeah, finishes with the UFC.
One hell of a year for the UFC in 2020. Still not over. They might have one more big fight. We'll see.
They have, I think, one more decent card in late November. That could be something
crazy.
Nothing too crazy to end up the year. If they can get the Conor Poirier fight, which is not agreed to, done before the year ends, before the new year, that would be dope to have because they don't really have any big promotions going on the rest of the year. It feels like, but it'll remain to be seen. Now that we're getting onto that, that the year's kind of wrapping up with no big events going on. What would you like to see in 2021? Your top 3 fights you need to see.
Top 3 fights?
You need to see.
In order or just top 3?
Top 3, whatever you want to see. You just need to see them.
Adesanya versus John Jones. Definitely have to see that.
In 2021?
In 2021.
End of the year, probably?
Or
mid. Because it's not going to be early because they both have...
Thinking August. August, September.
That'd be nice. There. Yeah, almost end of the year.
Almost end of the year.
That'd be nice.
A little bit.
Yep.
I also would like to see, if possible, GSP versus Khabib. I think they could possibly make that happen.
End of the year
I would like
again,
to see maybe sooner than end of the year.
Okay.
Just because you can't keep that belt.
Do you think Khabib is going to come back, though?
Yeah, I do.
For that last fight?
I think he'll come back for
Do you think it has to be George St. Pierre for him to come back, though?
I don't think it has to be George St. Pierre.
Because he keeps saying nothing interesting. And if he doesn't have the belt, he needs to be fighting someone for legacy.
Exactly.
So it's like, who's he really going to fight?
In my opinion, if they're going to do the Conor fight again, they're going to have to pay that man a ridiculous amount of money.
You know what I think is the only way, though, that he does the Conor fight again? Now that his belt's vacant, if Conor goes and wins that belt in the division, he hates Conor so much.
They said that the belt's not vacant. That's why I think he's coming back. Dana said that it's not it's not vacant. He said that they're not going to have a lightweight. They're not making no match yet.
That's no bueno.
That's why I said I think he's coming back.
Khabib's going to hold that division up, though.
I think it's going to be hold up for a while.
He takes like 7 months off between each fight, dude.
Each one.
That's going to be...
So it's going to be hold up for a while, I think.
That's going to be... fucked. That division is the best division in the UFC besides bantamweight, and it's gonna get held up.
Yeah, because you'll have their best option is to make Dustin versus Conor
that's tough.
Interim fight to make that the winner of that the interim champion.
Yeah, but how do you skip over Gaethje though? Like that's why I said in episode 2, those two have to fight, and then one of them fights Gaethje for the interim championship again.
True.
But then, does Gaethje want to fight again for something that's called interim, though?
The problem is, true that, but the problem is with Gaethje, Gaethje, McGregor, and Poirier.
Yeah, and Chandler, too.
And Chandler. Whatever fight those four take, interim, the real belt, just to fight.
To get to the real
belt.
If you lose, you're screwed.
Man, you're going to be pushed back so far back.
Yeah, that's a big setback
your whole entire 2021 is just ruined.
Yeah, unless you're Conor, in my opinion. Just because he brings that,
unless you're Conor, but if you're anyone else, you're fucked.
No, yeah, I agree. Especially if the division's getting held up, too. That's no bueno. But those are two good ones. What's your third one for that, though?
My third one, man, I'm not sure who, but I'm not sure what division did Ronda Rousey's fight in. Do you know?
I think it's strawweight.
Is that the same as
the three girls divisions are bantamweight, strawweight, and flyweight? I'm pretty sure.
I'd like to see them make somehow a big fight with Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, with somebody.
I would like to see.
You know who the only person that I could see giving her any kind of challenges though, besides Shevchenko, but she already beat her, is Wei Li. Zhang Wei Li.
Okay.
But I don't know what her weight class is to match up with Nunes, because I know Nunes rules. I think the two below her. So would Nunes go up and try to be a three division champ? Or would Wei Li have to drop down and be a 2-division champ? So, but that's the only chick that I see, even with any kind of problem causing from Nunes, because Wei Li's got rock hands. She's got bricks in her hands.
I have one more fight that I just have to throw in there, just because I think it's going to be an absolute dog fight if they make it happen. It's going to be Covington versus Usman 2. I think that will be an absolute dog fight. And a war.
That's interesting. I like that one.
I
also want to see. We'll get to mine, but that's a nice one.
Can Usman get past Burns? I don't know.
Yeah, Burns is a problem. But
also, can they even make that fight happen? And can they walk out? It's been canceled now. What, 2 times?
2 times, yeah.
So we'll see. I'd love to hear though your top 3 that you have.
So for my top 3, I'm gonna stay in that division, and it's kind of like a loaded answer, but I want to see Covington fight Usman, but I want I kind of want Masvidal to fight both of them. Like, obviously you can't fight both of them, but I'm saying, like, if you match them up in any kind of way with that, like that, all these divisions right now are stacked at the top, and the middle's kind of like dry to the bone. Like the only division in the entire UFC that's filled out, like, where the whole top 15 is like real contenders, is bantamweight. So I would love to see though Usman versus Covington as well. One that not a lot of people are talking about is I want Ngannou to get back in the ring and fight Stipe. Stipe takes a lot of time off between fights, like Cormier does and like Khabib does, and I don't like that. Ngannou's gonna have to wait a whole year in between fights because he's waiting for his title shot.
I think Stipe's scared.
I mean, he dogged him in the first one, but I agree. I think Ngannou's came a long way from that first fight. So,
exactly.
And I want Ngannou to get his title shot because he's been waiting around for a whole year now.
And he's gonna keep waiting.
Well, that's why. That's what I mean. Because think about it. If you're him, you don't want to take another fight and then lose your title shot.
See, but then if you're at the UFC, do you just give it to John Jones before him? Just because you want the money?
Can't. No.
Just
I don't think John Jones and Stipe is as big a draw as Ngannou and John Jones. Stipe is an established vet in the game, champion. He's one of the best. Not a GOAT, but he's one of the best to do it. But John Jones brings the box office, and Ngannou brings the box office because of his heavy hands, and he puts people to sleep. So I think if he can get his title shot, take that from Stipe, Ngannou and John Jones for the title is a much bigger fight and a better sell than Stipe versus John Jones.
Okay.
So that's why I want to see Ngannou get his title shot and then get Jones. It's like another loaded answer for me because it's like I need guys to get their shots, win it, and then they'll get that big super fight we're all waiting for. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. My opinion, though, about that whole John Jones going up to heavyweight thing is the UFC cannot fuck up that matchup.
Yeah, no, he's got to get a good one.
It's going to be a 1-5 for him in heavyweight. He's going to try to get the belt. He's gonna drop back down and get his other belt back.
Well, where I think he screwed up is where Adesanya now is holding the middleweight belt, and now he's going up to lightweight or light heavyweight to try and be a 2-belt champion. John Jones should have did the same thing. Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, we're having some technical difficulty. Oh, there we go. Oh, that scared us for a second. But no, like where Adesanya's jumping up now to be a 2-division champ. I don't really know why Jones vacated his title when he could have jumped up and been in heavyweight going for a 2-division championship. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's pretty interesting the decision he made to vacate his belt. But definitely want to see Ngannou versus Stipe so he gets his title shot. And then my last one, ladies and gentlemen. I need Conor McGregor, Khabib 2 for a belt. For a belt. I need Conor to go take the belt so that Khabib comes for him. Or I need Khabib to be like,
Brother, just send location. We smash this guy. Send location. We smash him, brother. No problem, brother.
I don't know.
No problem.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But not a lot going on, but those would all be some super fights for us to watch. And I'm very interested.
I'm excited. I think the UFC is on the rise. 2020, I think they
handled
killed
business.
It.
When everyone else was struggling.
Absolutely. And if you put all the sports and gave them out an award, UFC
definitely leads the list.
Them
and the NBA for sure won.
Them and the NBA for sure. And I think the UFC has nothing but up and good going for them.
They're on the upward trajectory for sure. It's becoming a lot more mainstream.
I'm excited.
Definitely. And then one more thing, it doesn't have to do with UFC, but did anybody see? I'm pretty sure a lot of you did. Did anybody see this absolute bomb that Gervonta Davis laid on?
Holy fucking
Toledo! Oh my god, that was disgusting. Right in front of the camera too.
Had that man
slipped
dreaming.
the right. He was out for a good 3 minutes.
I had him dreaming.
He was out cold for a good 3 minutes. That was disgusting. That was a nice fight too. Showtime put on a pretty good one.
For sure.
Honestly, boxing's got a lot of big matchups coming up too. We'll have to get into once they start really making them happen.
100%.
I feel like they've been slacking for the last couple years for a while, but now they're gonna get a lot going.
I feel like boxing and fighters they stall.
Well, yeah, because there's just so many belts you can win. Exactly. All these
that's the problem with boxing is it's not just like the UFC. You have one belt for each division,
and so you got to go through that belt.
It's not 4 belts for each country type
or
shit.
division.
So I feel like that's why not a lot of people necessarily keep up because
there's so much to keep up on.
But for sure, we will definitely be touching up on that.
Oh yeah, and we'll definitely be getting some boxing analysis from a guest star.
Oh, absolutely. So stay tuned to that, ladies and gentlemen. But that'll wrap it up, guys, for your UFC topics this episode. Thank you so much.
We appreciate y'all.
Woo! Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we very much appreciate you guys tuning in to episode 3 of Vibe Sports Talk. I'm Matty Bearcat.
Jordan Huey.
Don't forget, you guys, we got these lovely stickers. Let me give you guys a quick close-up. Woo! Fire!
On sale for $2. Tap it on the Instagram. Like Maddie said, we've appreciated all the love and support so far. Make sure you guys, when you go to the YouTube, please hit us with a subscribe. We appreciate it so much.
And a like.
And a like. They're very important to us, and we appreciate all the love you've shown us. And, keep tuning in. Every Friday, we are going to be dropping an episode with a bunch of knowledge and up-to-date on all the sports y'all love. So, see y'all next week.